Well, hello. It's time for another round of One Piece, and this time it's One Piece Volume 4. I want to try and make this more regular than it actually is, but it's trying to accumulate the volumes at the moment, so which is why I'm still going volume by volume, but I'm thinking of changing in the new year if I can get any box sets of it. But yeah, so you know how this format goes. We're going to read it chapter by chapter. Once I finish each chapter, I'm going to give you my thoughts, and then we're going to do an overall review of the volume at the end. So come along with me, and we're going to start with chapter 27, True Lies. So I'm making progress, but I know there's over 100 volumes, but let's go into it. Usopp has tried to tell Kaya about Klahadore, her butler, who's going to take her life, but she doesn't believe him. She thinks he's a liar because he was telling fanciful stories, and she's like, and she says to him, but I never thought you'd stoop so low. And the villagers are chasing him because he's been lying to them, and so she sees all this, and all this commotion is happening, and Usopp gets injured and realises, I'm a liar, I shouldn't have lied, it's too late, oh gosh. And so he runs and then finds like his little tag-along crew and just makes it up and tells them, oh, I lied, and they don't believe and they walk off. But he's surprised that Luffy is alive. Obviously he doesn't know about his powers yet, and he says that even though he's a liar, he still likes the village and he's still going to protect it. Nami, Zoro and Luffy decide to help him because I think they see that he's a good guy. His intentions are pure even though he's been lying, but I feel like Usopp's going to have some character developments during this arc, so we're going to move on to chapter 28, Crescent Moon. Also, can I just say, I really like the 2-page illustration there. That's really nice, actually. That's actually just made me like giggle a little bit. I like the little joke where where Nami and Zoro and Nami say, I steal, I stretch, I cut, you've got to fight. Where Usopp says, I run high, because he's got no special ability. Although he seems quite good with his slingshot, actually. So much for coming up with a plan. So chapter 29, Usopp, Luffy, Zoro and Nami all have made a plan. So they have used like cooking oil because they're on the beach. They've made the slope really slippery so the pirates can't get up the slope. And Nami says, oh, it'll be foolish if we get caught in their trap. But they hear screaming from the other side of the island, and the pirates have come on the north beach instead of the other side. So Usopp screwed up with that, and what they have to do is Usopp runs to the other side of the island, but Nami and Zoro get stuck in the trap, which is just quite ironic. Luffy starts running, but Luffy has gone in the wrong direction because he's got no sense of direction, and Usopp's the only one who's there, and he says he's captured Usopp, and I don't think this is gonna go well because it's 1 against like 5, but we'll just see how it goes. I hope he can hold his own for a bit. So chapter 29 was quite eventful, actually. So Usopp manages to hold his own. He does get injured, but because he's quite good with his slingshot, he manages to hold his own until Nami gets there. They've already seen the whole crew, like Nami's and Luffy's berries, and they lay claim to it essentially. And Usopp says that, oh wait, you can have it. And then Nami says, why are you trying to give my treasure away? That's mine. And they manage to hold their own, but they both get quite injured because they are quite overwhelmed. And to Jango, the hypnotist who's the acting pirate, says, ignore them. If we don't get to the villagers, our pirate crew will cut our throats off. And they're like, oh no. But so they run up the hill, but they get stopped by Luffy and Zoro, who have managed to join the fight. They're both pretty angry and say, I love how Jango just says, are they crazy at the end? But yeah, that was a pretty action-packed chapter. But we're moving on to chapter 30. So we've got 29 chapters down, so let's move on to chapter 30, Backfire. Another hectic chapter. So they hold off against the pirate crew, but then Jango hypnotises the crew and says, oh, you are now stronger, which it does work, but it also hypnotised Luffy even though he wasn't aiming. But Luffy wipes out the entire crew and then goes for the mast of the ship and rips it off, so he's aiming for Jango. but Jango hypnotizes him and it takes a few minutes and he falls under sleep at the mast. Luffy did manage to wipe half the crew, but they do mention that there's some brothers, like Meow brothers or something, on the ship still, so I feel like there's going to be a fight arc with them, like a fight chapter with them in a minute. But then the chapter ends with Clahador, I'm just going to call him Clahador because I can't remember the other captain's name, heading towards the beach, and a kid from the village sees him, and I think one of the kid is acting under one of Captain Usopp's lackeys, but I'm excited to see what the rest of the volume has, so we're going to move on to chapter 31, Truth. Okay, so the Meow Band brothers, Sam and Butchie. They're interesting designs is all I've got to say. Very interesting designs. Oh, the cat burglars. Okay, that's why. Because he's just stole Zoro's swords, so they're cat burglars, that's why they're designed like that. Interesting. So Kaya has woke up and thinking, and finds out one of the members of staff that was almost murdered by Kuro, and he tells her that Usopp wasn't lying, that Kuro is actually the pirate, and then Kaya's like, oh, Usopp wasn't actually lying, he was going to put his whole life down, and she said horrible things to him, so she needs to go and talk to Kuro, so she's going to go talk to him. And the kids of the village see her and they're talking about, like, Usopp wasn't lying, he was acting really strange yesterday, so I think they're going to end up going to the beach as well. But Zoro has started to fight the Meow Bran brothers, who are cat burglars, like I mentioned earlier, and one of them was pretending to be a scaredy cat, so it was Zoro underestimated him, and his swords have been stolen, and it's going to be interesting to see how he gets them back. So we're moving on to chapter 32, Cruel Fortune. That was a pretty intense chapter, I'm just gonna say. So, a lot more fighting going on. Luffy is knocked out, so Zoro is fighting against the Meowbran brothers, and he is having a hard time, and he's getting quite injured, but he's holding his own, trying to protect Nami and Usopp, and even Nami and Usopp have a conversation, saying, because Usopp tries to provide military artillery support, but Zoro gets hit on purpose because if the people get distracted, they might go after him, Nami says. And they need to get Zoro's sword just so he can get a one-up. So Nami tries to get the sword, but she gets knocked out by the acting captain, and Captain Kuro, that's his name, has arrived, and things don't look good because all four of them are weak, and I think Captain Kuro is quite strong, so I'm scared to see how this is going to play out. But one attack did make me laugh when I was reading it, and that was Pussy Willow March. Really? Like, okay. But yes, so because they fight like cats, because they're cat burglars, it's interesting how I like the design, how they fight though. That's quite a cool design concept. But moving on to chapter 33, The Creeping Cat. So things are taking a turn for the good. Zoro manages to get his sword back, and he manages to defeat the Meow Band brothers, but Captain Kuro, they try and commit mutiny against him, but it turns out that he's got like a really special move, like these cat claws that he can kill, and the reason he can still kill is because he's been pushing his glasses up so he didn't injure himself. I know that's quite a scary move, and he defeats the Meow Band brothers just in one swell swoop, but Zoro, because he got his swords back, manages to defeat them, and even though and then Captain Jango hypnotizes them, so Zoro's still up against one of them who's got like superpowers essentially, but Nami decides to try and wake Luffy because they need all the allies they can get. But yeah, we're going to see how this turns out. We've got 2 chapters left on my life. That's been quick. So chapter 34, A Humble Servant. Oh wow, things are getting really, 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 really intense. So Kaya has showed up to the beach and she sees Captain Kuro and she still thinks he's Clohador, and she speaks to him and she's like, no wait, you're not Clohador. And he tells her why her demise is essential. And Luffy is awake and they're all like surprised that he's alive, but that's just like an ongoing joke at this point. That's just an ongoing thing at this point. I think everyone's going to be surprised that they're alive. But Kaya brings out a pistol because she wants to shoot Captain Kuro, but the way he speaks to her is like, I had to endure all of this so that I want your fortune. She says, I'll tell you my fortune, but he wants a peace of mind. So all this humiliation. So I think he wants to try and kill her. He tries to injure her, so Usopp protects him, but Luffy manages to punch him over before he can hit Usopp. And yeah, we've got one more chapter, so sleep slope. So let's see how things are going to finish off in this next chapter. Wow, so things don't look too good, I'm gonna be honest. But I forgot to mention, Usopp did say that's no like medallion, that's a chakram. I don't really know what a chakram is. That's interesting because it's mentioned again that Jango uses his chakram on one of his crew, and he's like, but it didn't work. So I want to know if that's similar to like some magical kind of jewel, if it's like a magical jewel, because it does look like a jewel. So a magical jewel, interesting to see. But it's revealed that Luffy is a Gum man, I think, and they're all going to fight each other, but Usopp tells Kaya and his pirate crew to run off because they try and fight, and Captain Kuro wants to kill everybody, but it looks like they need to get up the slope first because Usopp's given his pirate crew the most important job of all. So at least at the moment they've run off, so they're in safety-ish, but it looks like everyone's going to fight, and especially Luffy and Zoro. But yeah, okay. Oh, I feel like it only gets good towards the end of each chapter. Like, I really want to read volume 5 now to see how they get out of that situation and how the rest of the story goes. Still, I've really enjoyed this volume. I still think I liked volume 3 the most. But I think some people have said in the comments that these are the worst boring arcs, but I am enjoying it. But I know I want to read more in the series just to see if the arcs can get more exciting. So I will be reading volume 5 probably before the end of the year. Then I'm gonna see if I can get the box sets so we can move on to the arc. So at least then I've had the first 5 volumes out of 101, is it? Out of whatever, how many there is at the moment. Again, I mean, that'll be my second 100 volume series that I need to collect, but that is it. But yeah, again, I really enjoyed this chapter. I really did enjoy this volume. I'm trying to, if I was to nitpick, I don't know, the Meow Brothers thing just seemed a bit random. It just seemed a bit like fillery to me. We could have had something else in the story, but apart from that, like, that's the only thing I can think of. I did enjoy this, and we'll just see how the rest of the volumes plan out. So that is it. That is volume 4 done and dusted. So thank you for watching. It is going dark because it is 3 o'clock and it goes dark at like 4 and it'll be dark in an hour. So thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Comment down below if there's anything that you think that I missed that I haven't mentioned, or anything that I should take note of in the next volume. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.